And this one is another dark saga of where politics are in the United States right now, and more evil actions being carried out by people. I'm going to separate these two into two separate posts because they're two distinct issues, but they are linked in the ideology that promotes them. And that I am talking about here is how people reacted to the news that the Allen, Texas gunman was a Latino white supremacist. Let's get into it. Before we begin this segment, let us have a moment of silence for the 8 victims of the Allen, Texas mall mass shooting to honor the victims. All right, thank you for joining me in that moment of silence. We honor these victims. Whew. Sorry, when I get a little bit emotional when it's kids. So, okay. Thank you for staying with me while we honor these victims. I will also honor the victims by not saying the name of the killer. Let his name be forgotten in history so as not to encourage evil men to seek infamy. With that said, in order to understand how to prevent tragedies such as these in the future, we have to understand the cause. As of this reporting, it has been a full week since Allen, Texas premium mall outlet shooting has taken place, and we found out much about the reasons behind the killer's motive and the political opportunists who wish to exploit it for their own political and personal gain. Let's make no mistake. The killer was motivated, at least in part, by his dedication to Nazism and white supremacy. Even though the killer was Latino, posts he made online make it abundantly clear that he was a Nazi and supported the cause of white supremacy. This may sound oxymoronic to you. You may be asking, why would a brown man support an ideology that would seek his destruction? Well, racist ideology and the promise of racial superiority are not just confined to white people. I will explore more of his motives later on in the program, but the reason I bring it up now is because of the fact that without any evidence whatsoever, various conservative media personalities and opinion makers were quick with their own racist narratives. Based on nothing more than a blurry image of the skin tone and a tattoo on his left hand, they quickly went to work. I will pull up that image now. You see that? So, brown skin, tattoo. That's what they were talking about. The common refrain was something along the lines of, he is a Hispanic illegal immigrant who had a gang tattoo, probably a cartel member. Close the border now. But don't take my word for it. Let's look at some of the tweets that are still up saying the same thing. Isabel O'Reilly Moody, Texas is fucked. The Allen, Texas shooter was 50 minutes away from me, and the shooter was a Hispanic gang member, likely tied to the cartel. Now another Hispanic man took an SUV and killed 7 people in Brownsville, Texas. Biden's border is killing people. Absolutely no evidence for either of these things whatsoever when she made this statement. None. No evidence. This tweet here. The tan tattoo is a City of Dallas logo used by Tango Blast gang members in Dallas, aka D-Town. It's a prison gang. In fact, serving prison time is a requirement to be a member. The dude was probably targeting someone in the crowd, or maybe he was high on drugs. Again, no evidence that this is 1, a gang member tattoo, 2, that he was targeting anybody in the crowd. The only thing that they have to go on is a fairly common tattoo of the City of Dallas's logo and the fact that he was brown. Look, there's more. Those are not his tattoos. He had a Tango Blast tattoo, Latino prison gang. The corporate press is unbelievable. His parents don't speak English, so they're unable to refute these allegations. Largest gang in Texas and works with the cartels. All of that, all the allegations of this just morph from probably to certainty. and it was picked up by propagandists such as this person. And why do I call her a propagandist? She posted this bullshit. She pays for Twitter. She has 14 followers. Why would you pay for Twitter with only 14 followers? So you can get your message out there. So you can get your propaganda more out there easily. It's ridiculous. So there was another tweet where a person basically said, hey, probably this, don't really know, but it's concerning. We should ask questions. The tweet reached 250 million views. Now, all these allegations, all of the ones I just showed you, happened hours after the killer's body went viral. Just merely hours. The police had not made a single statement yet. There was no evidence for any of these claims. It was pure narrative designed to serve a political cause. It played directly into the bias of conservative base. That immigration, legal or otherwise, from Central and South America is bad. But the proof behind the monster who murdered 8 people in cold blood was vastly different from the narrative that was quickly spun to fit a MAGA worldview. The killer was born in Dallas County in 1989, thus making him a citizen of the United States. The killer was approved to work as a security guard in Texas from April 2016 until April 2020, when, according to his profile in the Texas Online Private Security Database. In Texas, to work as a security guard, you have to register with the state. They keep records of it, and that is how we know about this. Also, to work as a security guard in the state of Texas, you cannot have a felony conviction within 10 years of attempting to get your security guard's license, and no criminal record has been released by the police. Additionally, the killer had enlisted in the military, but was removed prior to finishing basic training. Yes, prior to finishing basic training, being only about 3 months or so into training, over mental health concerns. But those concerns do not appear to have been raised to the level of preventing him from being able to legally own a firearm, as evidenced by the fact that 1, he purchased firearms through official dealers, and 2, he was able to work in private security at a level where he would be carrying a weapon on him at all times. Despite this fact, most of the weapons he owned were purchased through private sales, which would not require a background check. Finally, let's talk about the tattoo. The tattoo on his left hand is actually a fairly common occurrence in Dallas, and one not just taken on by gang members. In my search for evidence that this is a gang tattoo, I found evidence that some people in Dallas just really love Dallas and got this tattoo or some variation of it fairly often. In fact, the tattoo is the Dallas City logo, which just turned 50 in 2022, which might explain why it looked so fresh. Because when you get a tattoo and when things like that happen, you see flash sales, flash tattoo sales go on, and people go and get the special deal for the tattoo that they want. The entire narrative that they spun was a made up lie. As mentioned earlier, at least part of his motive was Nazism and white supremacy ideology. After the fake narrative spun by shit stains went viral, reports from police started trickling out from the mainstream press. The first evidence of this motive was the report that the killer had a RWDS patch on his tactical vest. This is his vest. He posted this vest on his social media account. This is what he wore to kill people. That's his. Let's talk about what RWDS means. According to the Texas Tribune, RWDS stands for Right Wing Death Squad and has for years been a popular slogan among neo-Nazis and other extremist groups. So popular use can be traced back to The Right Stuff, a white nationalist hate group, and has frequently been donned by members of extremist groups, including leaders of the Proud Boys. Furthermore, in 2021, members of a, quote, right-wing Death Squad Facebook group were arrested after plotting to, quote, McVeigh the Democratic National Committee. When this fact was revealed, many on the left seized it as proof of right-wing motives and even white supremacist leanings. The former makes complete sense. RWDS, Right Wing Death Squad, is a right-wing overture, and carrying it on your person during a mass shooting sends a message. However, white supremacist leanings are not necessarily proved by it. Yet all doubt was removed when the police revealed that the shit stain had an online social media account that pointed to an extremist ideology. Eric Toller, Director of Training and Research at the international research collective Bellingcat.com, an open source intelligence journalism outfit, was able to find the killers online after police released information pointing to an obscure social media site known as OK.ru. Among the Nazi symbolisms and praise for other mass shooters, including the one who killed kids at the Christian elementary school in Tennessee last month, were photos of weapons, research into times the mall was busy, an image of a traffic ticket with the killer's name and birth date on it, as well as paperwork from a hotel he was staying at before the shooting. Any doubt that this was the killer is gone. And with this image, any doubt that white supremacy and anti-black racism were part of his ideology should have been dispelled. I wonder if Alan Texas was a white supremacist, if only there was a post that made himself where you could find out in context of him being Latino. But this image he posted on his social media. Latino kids can either, quote, act black, whatever the hell that means, or become white supremacist. Now, it's important to point out that whiteness has been amorphous since race as a conception was codified in the 1700s. For example, prior to roughly the 1930s, Irish and Italians weren't considered white. Hitler even had honorary Aryans. This is playing out today in racist circles, with some saying that Latinos cannot be white, while others claim that they can be, as seen by Nick Fuentes being a prominent purveyor of white supremacy himself. It is clear that the killer, based on just this meme we just showed, believed that Latinos needed to embrace white supremacy and anti-black ideology. What this should have led all the right-wing commentators to do is issue retractions on their original bullshit claims and do some self-reflection on why a raging Nazi would like their content. Yes, in the Carol's profile are mentions of the likes of Tim Pool and libs of TikTok. Why ideology deranged individuals can be inspired by all manner of people, and it is not necessarily reflective of those people's beliefs themselves. It keeps happening, and it's time to pause and ask why. But they didn't do that. No. Instead, they doubled down on conspiracy like the ghouls they are. Tim Pool. I'm assuming they posted this fake Russian profile in response to the fact that a trans person shot kids and they're terrified. The tweet in question, wow, the island, oh, this is going to get me banned. Whatever. we'll edit it out in the YouTube video. Wow, this alien profile on Russia's social media site has been found. He posted photos of Nazi tattoos and reconnaissance photos of the outlet weeks prior. He also posted right-wing YouTube Tim Pool. Well, there's just one. Here we see Ian Miles Chung reporting or stating that the alleged shooter's alleged profile claims that he was inspired by libs of TikTok. Between this and a Tim Pool reference, this thing is suspect. Where is this Twitter account? Why was he using a Russian social media site to write was essentially a diary to 0 followers? Yeah, why? Why was he doing that? Yeah, he's just asking questions, guys. Just asking questions. And finally, we have Andy No. Andy No. I took a screenshot of this to block out the guy's name, because that's what we're doing here. And finally, we have Andy No, a journalist, claiming that Bellingcat is a USA government intel asset and far leftist media outfit to further poison the well among his right-wing followers. We're just asking questions, guys. We're not trying to shape a political narrative that fits our ends of our ideology. We don't do any soul searching here. We don't need to. It should be clear to everyone, even those who are right-wing, that these influencers are not trustworthy. They didn't do any soul searching after promoting lies about the killer. They didn't issue retractions or corrections. They did the opposite. They doubled down on lies and worked to obfuscate the truth. They started to run damage control for the right-wing cause. They weren't just asking questions to get to the truth. They are political actors masquerading as journalists to push a horrid agenda. Some would say evil. I'm some people. This is an objectively evil thing to do, and no one should stand for it. Now, the question of like, why was he doing this? Might be a actual fair question. Why did he pick an obscure social media website to dump all his deranged lunatic writings based on his ideology? Well, if I had to guess a reason why the killer chose that website, it would be to have a permanent record of his thoughts and ideas resting on a site that had little to no moderation. So when it was inevitably found by police, it could be used to inspire others to action, to gain infamy, to impact the world, to not be the loser scum of the earth that he actually was. It doesn't take a psychologist to figure this out. Post on his social media, prove it. In addition to the fact that these sick, evil folks want notoriety, there's a growing research that intense media coverage of mass shootings cause contagion. It gets other would-be mass shooters to go through with their plans to not miss the coverage, or gives them the resolve to go through with their to carry out their horrid crimes. Researchers like Steven Pinker believe that one of the best ways to combat mass shootings is to simply not report on them, or at least not report on them as intensely. However, the greater media sphere doesn't have the wherewithal to hold back on reporting on these crimes, because if it bleeds, it leads. But I will do what I can to not contribute to the issue. It is for these reasons that I have not mentioned the killer's name once. It is why I try my best to not mention the name of other mass killers. Not only that, I do not report on every mass shooting that happens, and generally wait to report on ones that are of particular importance. The reason I am reporting on this one specifically is because of its political nature and the lies spread by right-wing commentators, opinion makers, and grifters that support them. They need to be held to account, and I encourage every single one of you to do so. Get your friends and family to no longer support them, because it will be better for us all. It is really upsetting to see how this narrative that these grifters, these commentators, these racist, quickly they spun their narratives, how quickly they changed their narratives, and how much of not a dent people like me posting online of the facts of the case didn't get people to change their mind, didn't get people to scratch their head and be like, wait a second, maybe I should take a step back and reassess this. And that is why I chose to report on it this way.